You're probably scrolling through endless specs, trying to decide whether that price tag is worth the risk of ending up with a laptop that looks great on paper but falls short when you actually sit down to game, edit, or just binge a series. I get it, nothing feels worse than splurging on a machine that doesn't fit your workflow. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When it comes to a 2-in-1 that's also marketed as a gaming rig, the stakes feel higher. You're asking for a device that can both fold into tablet mode for sketching and hold its own in a modern shooter. That combination forces compromises, so the real question is, does the Lenovo Yoga Pro 9i manage those trade-offs, or does it try to be everything and end up being nothing? First off, the 16-inch OLED panel is the most immediate talking point. At 2.8K resolution with an 1100 nit peak, the screen is bright enough to punch through a sunny CAF window, and the color depth is vivid enough for Photoshop work without any noticeable banding. In gaming, the 120Hz refresh rate actually makes a difference. You'll see smoother motion in fast-paced titles like Valorant or Apex Legends. The downside? The OLED can be a bit power-hungry, and you'll notice a dip in battery life when you crank the brightness to its maximum. Speaking of power, the Core Ultra 9285H is a 16-core beast that blends performance cores with efficiency cores. In real-world testing, it handled multi-threaded workloads like video rendering in DaVinci Resolve with ease, shaving minutes off export times compared with a typical mainstream laptop. For gaming, the RTX 5058GB GDDR7 GPU isn't the flagship model, but it delivers solid 1080p performance at medium-high settings. You won't be maxing out ray tracing in Cyberpunk 2077 at native resolution, but you'll get a smooth experience in most current titles. Portability is another hidden factor. The Yoga Pro 9i weighs just under 2 kilograms, and the hinge lets you flip it into tablet mode with a firm click. If you're a digital artist who likes to sketch on the go, the stylus support feels natural, and the low-latency pen response is noticeable. However, the chassis is a bit thicker than a pure Ultrabook, and the cooling fans kick in noticeably when you push the GPU for extended gaming sessions. That fan noise can be a distraction in quiet environments like a library or a shared office space. The keyboard gets a lot of love because it's backlit and has decent travel for a thin laptop. In tablet mode, the keyboard folds back, turning the device into a solid writing surface. I tried long-form typing while the laptop was charging, and the keys stayed consistent without the occasional soft spot you sometimes feel on convertible keyboards. The trackpad is spacious, but you'll probably reach for an external mouse when you're in competitive games, where precision matters. Connectivity is surprisingly generous for a 2-in-1. You get 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, a pair of USB-A ports, one always-in for charging peripherals, and a full-size HDMI-compatible output via a dongle. That means you can hook up a 4K external monitor for a dual-screen setup without needing a dock, which is handy for streamers who want a dedicated chat window. The only gripe is the lack of an SD card slot, which some photographers miss when they're trying to ingest raw footage directly. Memory and storage feel future-proof. The 32GB of LPDDR5 x8400 RAM is soldered, so there's no upgrade path, but it's more than enough for 2025-era multitasking, heavy Photoshop brushes, or running multiple VMs. The 1TB NVMe SSD delivers quick boot times and snappy gain load screens. If you need more space, the included 2TB USB drive offers a workaround, but it's an external solution that adds a bit of bulk to your bag. Wi-Fi 7 is a nice touch, especially if you have a router that supports the new standard. In my home network, the laptop consistently hit near gigabit speeds, which mattered when I was streaming 4K video while gaming. The Wi-Fi stability held up even when the device was in tablet mode, something that can be a pain point on older convertible laptops. Now, let's talk dollars and cents. The Yoga Pro 9i sits in the upper mid-range bracket, edging close to premium territory because of the OLED screen and the high-end CPU. If you compare it to a pure gaming laptop with a larger dedicated GPU, you'll pay a similar amount but get a more versatile form factor. If your primary need is hardcore gaming at ultra settings, you might get better value from a dedicated gaming laptop with an RTX 4060 or higher. If you value a high-quality display for content creation, the ability to convert to